Hello, my good friends. Here is Adam Stephen again. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to talk on chords formation. Let's begin with chords. What are chords? Okay, chords are a group of three or more notes that, when executed or when played, they are heard as one. Alright? For instance, if I play this, you hear as one, right? But then these are combination of notes to form a particular chord. Alright? Now, chords are built on a scale. They don't come from nowhere. Okay, they have a foundation, and this foundation is what we call a scale. Okay, we have basically 7 letters of the alphabet of music. Okay, now chords are built on scale. In this video, we are going to concentrate on major scale. All right, major scales, because we have different types of scales. We have major scales, we have minor scales, and on minor scales we have natural minor scales, we have harmonic minor scales, we have melodic minor scales, and we have all time, we have pentatonic scales, we have blues scales, you can name it. Alright, so chords are built on these different scales. Alright, major scales has a formula. Okay, it has a formula, it does not come from anywhere. Right now, the formula is what we call tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Now, but it begins on a root note. All right, it begins on a root note. After the root note, you make a tone movement to get your second note. You make another tone movement to get your third note. Then you make a semitone movement to get your fourth note. You make a tone movement to get the fifth note. You make a tone movement to get the sixth note. You make a tone movement to get the seventh note. And you make a semitone movement to get the eighth note, which is the octave. Alright? Now, when you've gotten the formula on how to build your scale, okay, let's consider the scale of C. Alright? You can see under this video, you see these are the scale of C. And you look at the tone movement that is made and the semitone movement. Alright, you discover that there is a semitone movement between the third note and the fourth note, which is between the third note and the fourth note, and there's another semitone movement between the seventh note and the eighth note. Alright, now all the rest, they have tone movement to reach another note. Now, how do I build my chords on these notes? You consider that note as the first degree note, because it is the chord of that note you want to form. Now let's take, for instance, I want to form the chord of C. Alright, because C is part of the scale of C major scale, right? So C is part of the scale. Now I'll consider C as the first degree note, right? So I'll pick the first note, the third note, and the fifth note of that scale. It's going to give me the chords of that note. Alright, so if I'm to pick the first note, my first note will be C, my third note will be E, and my fifth note will be G. Okay, so C, E, and G combines to give me my C chord. Okay, now if I am to form this chord on the second degree note, the second degree note here is D. Alright, now I'll consider D as the first note. Okay, so if D is my first note, now the third will be what? My F. Alright, now the fifth will be my A. So the chords of the second degree note will be D, F, A. Alright, now that is how it continues. For instance, if I want to form the chord of F, alright, I'll consider F as the first degree note. So F will be the first, the third will be my A. So A will be the third note, and C will be the fifth note. So the chord of F in this case now will be what? F, A, C. So you see that the forming the chords, the note that the choices of the note will always be within the notes of that scale. You will not pick the note that is out of the scale. Okay, now when you get these chords, you will discover something. You will see that the structures of the chord are different in some cases. Now look at the structure of chord 1, which is the chord of C. Now when you look at the chord of C, you will discover that the distance between the first note, which is C, and E is 4 semitones. So you see that from C to C sharp is a semitone. From C sharp to D is another semitone, that's 2 semitones. Now from D to D sharp or E flat, it is 3 semitones. Now from E flat to E, that's 4 semitones. So the distance between C and E is 4 semitones. Now from E to G now, from E to F is 1 semitone. From F to F sharp is another semitone, which makes it 2. From F sharp to G is another semitone, which makes it 3. So you see that we can give it a ratio 4:3 because from the first degree note to the 10th degree note is 4 semitones. Then from the 10th degree note to the 5th degree note is 3 semitones. Now when we look at this scenario, it happens also on the chord bed on the 4th degree note, which is F. When you look at the distance between the first and the 10th degree note of the key, of the chord of F, between F and A, is 4 semitones, right? And between A and C is 3 semitones. Okay, that one gives it another the same structure like the chord of C. Now look at the same structure again appears on the chord of G. Alright, so between G and B is 4 semitones, and between B and D is how many semitones? 3 semitones. Okay, now you see that the chords of C, that is the chords of the first degree note, the chords of the 4th degree note, and the chords of the 5th degree note have the same structure. Okay, let's consider the ratio 4:3. Alright, now this structure we call because they have the same structure, though their sounds are brighter, mature, and stable. They are just like the group 8 element of the periodic table. So we call them stable chords. Alright, so they have no pressure. They don't need another chord to come and fight or interfere with them, like maybe the metals and the non-metals of the periodic table that are randomly looking for other elements to cling to. So they are stable, just like the normal gases. Alright, so because they are stable and they are brighter, they are mature, we call them major chords. Alright, we call them major chords. And because there are 3 chords found on the same scale that have that same structure and are stable, we call those 3 chords the primary chords. Alright, so the primary chords are the chord 1, the chord 4, and the chord 5 of a major scale. Alright, so in this case, these are the primary chords of the C major scale. Alright, now the rest, which are chord 2, chord 3, let's analyze chord 2. Now chord 2, we have D, F, and A. Now look at the relationship or the distance between D and F. Now between D, from D to D sharp or E flat is a semitone. From E flat to E is another semitone, that's 2. Then from E to F is another semitone, that is 3 semitones. So you see that from D to F is 3 semitones, right? Now from F to A, let's see, from F to A, the distance or the intervals between F and A. Now from F to F sharp is a semitone. From F sharp to G is another semitone, that's 2. From G to G sharp or A flat, that's 3 semitones. Now from A flat to A, that is how many semitones? 4 semitones, right? So you see that it is just like the opposite of chord 1. You know, chord 1 was 4 against 3, but chord 2 now is 3 against 4. Now the same scenario happens on chord 3 too. Alright, so on chord 3 we also have 3 semitones against 4 semitones, right? Now on chord 6, which is the chord of A, right, we have another 3 semitones against 4 semitones. Now we call these chords, these are secondary chords, alright, and they are called minor chords because they are not stable, they are less stable. They are just like the meters and the non-meters of the periodic table, right? They are not stable. They are looking for somewhere to hang their outer electrons to combine with other elements. Okay, so they are called secondary chords, alright. They are called secondary chords, and they are minor chords. Yes, let me just say minor chord. That is perfect. Minor chords. Alright. So minor chords is just the opposite of major chord. Alright. Now, what makes them minor is because if you look at their fifths, all of their fifths have been dropped. What makes them different from their major counterpart is because their thirds, all their third notes have been dropped by semitone. Okay, that's what makes them minor. Okay, now there's something very interesting. Look at chord 7. That is the chord of B, right? Chord forms on the 7th degree note. Now the chord on 7th degree note is B, D, and F. Alright. Now let's analyze the distance or the interval between the notes of that chord. Now between B and D, from B to C is a semitone. From C to C sharp is another semitone, that's 2. From C sharp to D is another semitone, that's 3 semitones, right? So from B to D there are 3 semitones. Now look at it from D to F now, the intervals. From D to D sharp or E flat is 1 semitone. From E flat to E is 2 semitones. From E to F is another semitone, which makes it 3 semitones. So you see that their ratio is 3:3, right? 3:3. So that one now we call it's not a minor chord, it is a diminished chord, right? It is a diminished chord. Why? Because both the third and the fifth of that note have been dropped by a semitone. So we have a first degree note, we have a flat third, and we have a flat fifth. That makes it a diminished chord. Alright, so when you understand these chord structures and this chord formation, you will be able to maneuver yourself on the guitar without having any challenges, any problem. Alright, now let's take for instance, if you are on the key of C, alright? Okay, now this is my note, the first degree note. Okay, sorry, this is my first degree note. Alright, now if I want to form the chords of this, I know that the chords bent on C is C, E, and G. Or you can call it Do, Mi, So, right? C, E, and G, right? Now this is my C. Okay? My next note will be my E, right? That's my E. How do I know it's my E? Because I know my open string 5 or string 4 open string is my D, and I make one tone and get my E. So I have my first note and I have my second note. Okay, now my third note is G, right? G is open string 3. So I have, you get that? Now if you want to still extend the chords or you want to make the chords more mature, you can still continue down. After the G, you have another C here. And after that C, you have E down again. So to make the chord more mature and heavier, I can just make. You get that? Alright? The sound smooth, perfect, stable. Okay, just like the normal gases. Alright. Now for your chord 2. Chord 2 is a minor chord. Alright, and it's found on the key of D. And we say major chord of D. We have the minor chord. We have D, F, and A. That gives you your chord 2. Alright. Open string 2 open is my B note. Okay, now a semitone forward give me my C, then 1 tone give me my D. Alright, now this is my D. Alright, the next note I need to get is what? F. Okay, this first string, open string, is E. So this note is already my F. So if I'm playing here, this one can already play this F. Okay, so if I'm playing this note, this is my F. Now this is my F here. Simple, right? The next note to get is A. Now, how do I get my A? This is already the third string here. Open string, third string, open string is my G. So if I make 1 tone movement, I get my A. Alright? So if I get my A, this is my A, my D, and my F. So it gives me something. Do you get the minor? Unstable, right? And that is how it goes through. For to chord E, you do the same thing. Chord F, you get it. Chord G, chord A, and chord B is diminished, and that is all. So I hope this video has helped you. I hope this lesson has impacted you and made more meaning to you. So go out there, play good music, play wonderful music. Let the world feel your chords. Let the world feel your music.